All right, so I want to demonstrate this really quick. I'm using a document library, and what I would do is query a list. So let me actually bring up the list itself to show you what that list looks like. It's just a standard list that I have on a site that I'm using. So sports list, just simple list, has some items information, and then it has a manager field here, and this manager field is a field that I'm using to use the people picker, so you can actually see that it does pick up from Active Directory or the user profile. So here's the information here. So what I'm doing inside the workflow, I built the workflow. Actually, I'll just go and do a new one. Using the query list, there's two different actions. There's a query list here, 365 one, and then there's this standard query list one. This is one I would recommend to use just because it's simpler to configure. So here I'm going to grab my sports list, and I want to select items only when the following is true. This is what I assume he was doing. So when the manager field, so if we go back here, when this field is a certain person, retrieve that information. So when the manager field, the property of the manager field that we want to use is the name field. That's the property, and that's equal to, in this case, put my name in here. We can do equal to, you can do contains. I would probably say contains over equal to, just so that you don't have to worry about any specifics there. You can also do email address as well, last name, first name. You can do by department, or you can use work email, and then you just need to put the email in there. But in this case, let's just do name. And then, so this is saying these are the things you're going to filter on. You can add another filter rule there, such as, and in this case, I have team. So when team contains Panthers or something like that, but not something we have to do, so I can actually delete that. Just giving you an example. You can also pull in this, being careful though, you could pull created by in here. The only issue with that is that these aren't going to be referencing the same, because the name is going to be different. And in that case, I believe it's display name, which again I don't see, so it might be account. You may have to convert that to text to get that to pull up correctly, and I haven't tested that, but actually here, let's go with initiator's display name. So the person who initiated the workflow, you could run their display name here, and then this again could come down to name, and so that becomes a simple container. That those are like fields, so that's a good thing. You want to sort those, and then simply getting your output. You can do a single output or output per column. If you do the separate output per column, this is going to require different collections for each one. So if I were to create one here and add another one, I would have to have another collection here. If you do single output, you can dump everything into one collection. So in this case, I want to get team name, and then I want to get title. Let's see here. So it's going to give me team name. Actually, that's not right. Yeah, team name and then title. Yeah, so that is how that's running. And then I can output that into a collection, and that collection will be just results. Let's do this, results collection here, and then I can do result count, which is just an integer. Let's do count. Save, and then just for fun, I'll log this so that we can just see the output of it really quickly, easily. Let's go with count, and then we'll do the results itself. Oops, not what I wanted to do. So that, keep hitting it. There we go. So it should output that, both of those, and then we'll simply publish this. This is show query list action workflow, and I'll of course export this and send it over to you. But let's see how this works. All right, cool. So it's published. Let's close this, go back to our documents list. So I'm running into query. I'm not querying on the same list. I'm using one action from one and sending it to the other. So I'm just going to run this on a random item. Just give me the ability to actually do that. So here we go. And I'm going to cancel this one. This one shouldn't be running at all. Not sure what that is for. So just cancel that. Not sure what that's for. All right, so I started that. Let's go back to documents and let's go back to this list item here and let's view the workflow property. The workflow, see that workflow should have started. So here you go. Workflow is completed, didn't take long. So if we look at this workflow, so there's 11 items and it's bringing the title and the team name back for each one. So it does work and it's filtering on where my name is in the manager field. So let's go look at that. So if you look at here, we have about 12 items in here and my name is on most of those, so it's pulling those back. If you want to actually test this again just to validate that, I'm actually just going to delete my name out of all of these and let's see what happens here. And so that only should bring back one, just to see if we're really good at what we're doing. While that's going, workflow status, let's go back. Let's kick off another workflow. All right, I'll give it a second, refresh the page. Yeah, workflows, and it should run. Shouldn't take too long, terribly long to run. So it started. So, yep, there you go. So give me 1 second, it should reload and it should show completed. There you go. So 1 and 1. So we do know that that did work and it is pulling and querying based on this field here, which is a people picker field.